Here's the truth that most Disney marathon runners spend 20 weeks logging miles and 0 weeks getting strong. And that's exactly why they're hobbling through the Blizzard Beach parking lot at mile 22, wondering what went wrong. As a running physical therapist and coach, I work with hundreds of runners training for the Disney Marathon, and the ones who cross that finish line feeling strong, durable, and ready to celebrate on Medal Monday in front of the castle, they all have one thing in common. They treated strength training as non-negotiable. Today, I'm giving you the exact 20-week strength training plan built specifically for Disney Marathon weekend. So you finish feeling like joy from inside out and not sadness or anger. Anyone can finish Disney. My goal is to help you actually feel great when you finish. And here's the thing that most training plans don't tell you. Disney Marathon weekend is not just a marathon. It's a multi-day event disguised as the most magical place on earth. You have time on feet. You have your expo day, park touring, standing in character meet lines. You're logging 15,000 steps before race morning even arrives. This isn't just 26.2 miles. It's a full day event on punishing concrete. And surface conditions, speaking of, like every inch of Disney property is pretty much concrete and asphalt. There's no soft trail surfaces, no grass shoulders. Your joints absorb every foot strike with zero forgiveness. And then we got the costume factor, right? Thousands of runners wear costumes, extra weight, restricted arm swing, altered stride mechanics. Your body is compensating for that load, whether you train for it or not. And lastly, we got the pace trap. Disney's 16-minute per mile minimum leads runners to chronically undertrain. They procrastinate and they finish, but they suffer. Strength training is what fills that gap between I finished and I feel great. Can you guys relate to any of this at all? Drop a comment below if you're running the full marathon, the half marathon, or if you're going for the Dopey challenge. I'd love to know what you are training for. And if this is our first time meeting, I'm Dr. Dwayne Scotty. I'm a running physical therapist, running coach, and founder of Spark Healthy Runner, where our mission is to help you stay healthy and run stronger for life. I'm also a Disney lover and have conquered 3 marathon weekends now, signed up for the Goofy Challenge this year. And over the past several years, I've had the privilege of helping dozens of runners successfully prepare for Disney Marathon weekend. But here's what I'm most proud about. It's not just helping runners cross that finish line or hitting that time on the clock. It's helping them cross the finish line healthy enough to actually enjoy the parks afterward, recover well, and keep running for years to come instead of spending several months dealing with an injury. And that's exactly why I'm excited to talk to you about the difference maker when it comes to being a durable, lifelong runner, not just a Disney Marathon weekend runner. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to just train for these races and then enjoy the experience and never run again. I personally run for the mental clearing miles that it provides me. It keeps me grounded, manages my stress levels, manages my anxiety, and sets the tone for the day so I can be as productive as I need to be for work. And I think my wife would agree that I'm a lot more friendlier to be around on the days that I get my run in. And here's the missing piece. Most runners believe that more miles is going to just poof, like magic, right? Translate into actually a better race day. And look, mileage absolutely matters. Like you have to actually run. You have to actually do the training. I'm not here to tell you to stop running, but here's what 20 years of working with marathon runners has really taught me. The runners that I see that fall apart at mile 18, mile 20, mile 22, they're almost always the ones who skipped strength training every single time. There are really 3 strength training secrets that you need to know that are so critical in why we strength train as runners. Number 1, or the first pillar that strength training provides, it helps prevent breakdown. It's like our injury armor. Disney's concrete is like relentless on your joints. Strength training specifically, single leg work, hip work, creates a protective layer around your knees, your hips, your ankles that mileage alone can't build. Number two, it improves our running economy. Stronger glutes and hips, more power per stride at any pace, including Disney's required minimums. Yes, I'm talking to you back at the Packers, right? That are worried about those balloon ladies. You're not just surviving the course, you're running efficiently through it if you strength train, because it improves your running economy. And then number three, it builds durability and recovery. This is especially critical for dopey runners. You need legs that can recover overnight and show up as good as new the next morning, or as close to good as new. Let's be honest here, for 4 consecutive mornings. And that's not a mileage adaptation. That's a strength adaptation that we are developing here. So here's the 20-week framework overview. Like, I am going to break this down for you. Here's how we're going to really build your strength from where it is right now to 20 weeks out, all the way to race morning, Walt Disney World. I've organized this into 4 phases. Think of this like your healthy runner success path, right? This is going to lead you to the promised land in Magic Kingdom. So each phase is really building on the last phase. And each phase has a specific job, and none of them require a fancy gym or hours of extra time. Phase 1, let's dive into this here. Phase 1 is your foundation. This is your base building. This is weeks 1 through 4. The goal here is to activate the right muscles, establish movement patterns, protect injury-prone areas that the Disney courses honestly will attack. And week 1 starts here. Doesn't start with squats, not with lunges, not with anything fancy. It starts with your foundation. And as a running physical therapist, I cannot stress this enough. If your foot, hip, glute activation is off, every single exercise above it is built on a broken base or broken foundation. And if you're already getting value from this today, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button. It helps this information get to more Run Disney runners who need it. And if you want to take advantage of everything that we covered today, I put it in a complete plan. I've got a free marathon training guide linked in the description below. Also comes with strength training, and that is going to really go hand in hand with everything I'm going to walk you through today. So let's talk about some key exercises during this phase 1, level 1 strength, foot tripod, or what we call a short foot. This establishes arch control and ground contact mechanics. So you actually have a strong foundation every time your foot hits the ground. Bridge variations, glute activation without loading the joints. Hip activation, what I like to call the humbler, and clamshells. These really target your side hip muscles, specifically the gluteus medius, which is the most underdeveloped muscle in any of us Disney runners out there. Step ups introduces step leg loading in a controlled manner where your foot's on the ground. This is a low risk pattern. So if you say like squats are bad for my knees can't handle squats, you're going to start actually controlling the movement with step ups. And then calf raises with a ball squeeze is another great exercise to build that lower leg resilience for all that concrete that you're going to be running on in Disney. And when you're doing these foundational exercises, I really like to program this at 2 to 3 times per week. It's not going to take you more than 25 minutes, right? So you're spending 20 to 25 minutes doing these exercises 2 to 3 times a week. And let's just check in, like for those of you who are dealing with some aches or some pains, in terms of like pain traffic light, check in. If you're in the green, then you have no pain, you got no problems. If you're going to continue as planned and you're going to progress. If you're in the yellow, something feels off. Maybe you want to reduce some of the range of motion with some of these movements or the load. And then red is like where we stop, we get evaluated. If you're having like pain with any of these movements, any of these exercises, we don't push through it, right? This is where we need to really protect, because we're in the build phase. This is the early phases. And if you push through, then you're not going to be able to get to phase 2, phase 3 strength, or phase 4, right? You can actually get the full instructional video of all the exercises I just mentioned to you in the resource that I have linked to this training. So now let's get to phase 2. This is where we're going to build. This is our single leg control and where we build resilience. This is pretty much like weeks 5 through 10. And what we're looking at is pretty much like a 6-week block here, where the goal is to develop single leg control, because when we're running, we're always on one leg, tissue capacity, so our tendons can actually build up some resilience so they can handle the load of running. And we begin this like power base that your Disney race is going to demand. And here's where a lot of runners make a critical mistake. They want to jump straight into exercises before they built the foundation, right? You're not going to do that. If you skipped phase 1, you got to go back. Okay, I don't want to hear it from you that those exercises are basic, those exercises look too easy. Try that humbler exercise. Let me know. You're going to be humbled, right? You are. Trust me. So we got to have the foundation first. And then phase 2, we're now going to load your body in ways that expose any weakness in your foundation. And that's intentional. And that's how we build resilience in our bodies. So some examples of key exercises in this phase is going to be like a reverse lunge into a runner's march, where you're going to stick it at the top, hold, balance on one leg. This is going to help with single leg loading. It's going to add a little hip flexor engagement, and it's going to mirror your running stride with a reciprocal arm motion. The next exercise is probably the most important one in this entire video, and that is single leg calf raises. We're going to add progressive loading for the Achilles and calf complex, right? This is critical for you as a runner. Our calf muscles are the workhorse. When we're running, when we're logging all those miles, when we're doing 26.2, when we're doing 48.6, our calf muscles are working at a greater percentage than any other muscle in our legs. And it is the most common muscle that people just don't strength train. Trust me, like I've been there. I never used to strength train my calves for the first 15 years I did strength training. So I definitely ignored them. You don't want to ignore these. This is critical. So that's probably the most important exercise. Skater taps. This is going to help with lateral stability, hip abductor strength, those side hip muscles. It's going to give you some directional control. The Run Strong core circuit. This is going to help with anti-rotation, anti-extension work. It's going to protect your spine during those long race days, right? You're going to be on your feet for long amounts of time, especially if you're wearing a costume that has any weight to it, or if you're going to be taking a hydration vest with you. You have to have a strong core. This phase exercise, same as the first, frequency-wise, how do we balance this with running? 2 or 3 times per week, depending upon your time demands. And you want to balance it with your mileage buildup. And a tip from your coach here, your strength sessions and your long runs should not be on the same day during this phase. You want to give your body 24 hours between them, because strength and mileage both create adaptation. And that's how our bodies grow. That's how they get stronger and they adapt to the training. But you need recovery in order to absorb that adaptation. And I think of runners like Tracy, who is a mom of 3 active kids, whose story reminds me of so many runners that we work with who started running in their 40s and have had every running injury since starting, whether it was IT band syndrome, runner's knee, pulled hamstring, plantar fasciitis. And the problem was that Tracy didn't know what to do to help her train and not get injured. She followed the Hal Higdon plans in the past and just did the mileage that was prescribed to her. And she was a Peloton junkie, so she would do the generic kind of upper body, lower body strength routines on her Peloton app, but she still kept getting caught in the same injury cycle. And the turning point for her was getting connected within our community, because she lives in rural Washington state. And she realized that running and training for marathons involves much more than just running. Instead of focusing on speed and pace, which is what she was doing before we met, and hoping for the best, we focused on building strength, improving her running mechanics, and creating a smarter training plan. And as a member of the Healthy Runner Academy and Coach Kat's guidance, she not only finished her first ever marathon at age 54, but completed the Dopey challenge, having a positive experience without getting injured this time. Like, think about that, guys. The longest she's ever run, the most miles in consecutive days that she's ever done, age older, right? We always make the excuse like maybe I'm getting too old. And she didn't get one of those nagging injuries that she always dealt with. This is the power of following through with progressive strength training that I laid out for you today. And guess what Tracy is doing this year? She's going back for seconds because she enjoyed her experience and training for her first Dopey. And I want you to be able to do that as well, to not just like do this challenge as a bucket list item, but to actually enjoy running throughout the year and then come back to Disney in years to come because you are a durable and strong runner. Now, here's something that most Disney runners never even think about: progression. You have to be strategic with your strength training. And this is really where we get to phase 3. So this is where we're peaking in training. We need to actually add in force production and race simulations. The goal here is to build maximum force production and running economy while supporting peak marathon mileage. We want to simulate the specific demands of Disney race day. And this is the phase where everything starts to come together. Your foundation is solid. Your single leg control is dialed in. Now we develop the power and efficiency that's going to carry you through mile 26.2 or 48.6 if you're doing Dopey. And the key exercises here are going to be one that I refer to as like the reverse lunge into a drive position. We're going to start to add some power. We're going to add hip extension to the movement that you built in phase 2. We're going to add in pogo jumps, which is going to develop that reactive strength in your Achilles, in your calves, which is crucial for those long stretches on the flat pavement in Florida at Disney. We're going to add single leg hops. This is plyometric loading that builds race-specific leg stiffness that we need to protect our tendons. We're going to add Bulgarian split squats. This is going to be high load single leg strength, the most transferable strength movement for marathon runners, and weighted calf raises. So now we're going to add progressive overload of that lower leg chain and the calf muscles that I mentioned before, and adding in exercise like single leg squats with maybe a dumbbell or a kettlebell. And this is going to give our full lower chain integration under load, because that is the progression. And here, the frequency, if you were doing 3 times a week before, now we dial it down to 2 times a week because we're peaking in training with our running. So we need to balance this. And here's a Disney specific tip for you. Here's something that I actually want you to try during this phase is to do at least 2 of your strength sessions immediately after a run, not before, after. Why do you ask? Because Disney's back-to-back race days means your legs will be doing hard work on already fatigued muscles. So training your body to control movements in your strength routine when it's tired is one of the most Disney-specific adaptations that you can actually build. Okay, quick check-in now. Like, what questions do you have for me about strength training for running? Drop your comments below, and I will answer them. Here's the last phase. Phase 4. This is where we're tapering. We're going to maintain the activation of your muscles so we can actually arrive fresh for race day. So this is pretty much like week 17 through 20. And the goal is to protect your strength gains that you built. It's to reduce volume, arrive at Disney feeling sharp, fresh, ready to go, and not depleted. Taper week is like where most runners start to panic. They do something stupid. They either stop everything completely and they lose that neural activation in our muscles that they spent 16 weeks building, or they try new exercises because they're feeling a little anxious and they're like, hey, I wasn't doing that exercise. I just saw that one on Instagram. Maybe I should start doing that right now. And, you have a little extra time during this taper time. Don't do either of those, please. The taper strength prescription is really going to drop down your strength training to 1 time a week. 1 maintenance session is all you need. The focus is going to really shift entirely to mobility, activation. So we're doubling down on some mobility, soft tissue care, activating your muscles. You're not building anything right now. We want to keep familiar movements. Your nervous system needs to know these patterns. Really, you got to get them down cold for race morning. This is not the time to try new exercises. This is not the time to push for a PR in the weight room. Trust the work that you put in over the last 16 weeks. Your body knows what to do. Your job right now is to show up rested, activated, and confident the work has been done. And next, I'm going to share with you the 3 biggest strength training mistakes Disney runners make. But before we go any further, I really want you to know, like, if you're feeling stuck and if you've gotten injured in the past when you trained for a marathon, or even started to wonder if your best running is behind you as you go through menopause, I want you to hear this from Elisa, who was in the exact same place. She is a real runner, and I've had the pleasure of working with her. And she didn't think that she would ever be able to accomplish the Dopey challenge given her injury history. And what happened when she followed a structured strength training program to allow her body to train for the Disney Marathon at age 50 without getting injured, but complete the whole 48.6 mile Dopey challenge. This is her story.
Hi, my name is Elisa from McKinney, Texas, and today I want to share my experience with the Healthy Runner coaching program. Back in 2023, I was training for the Chicago Marathon, and I injured myself during the training cycle, mainly due to overtraining and going through menopause. At that time, I was sidelined and really not happy about where I was at that point, and started running to the podcast, the Healthy Runner podcast, and quickly became a subscriber, and started to get more information and learn about Dwayne and about the coaching team, getting to know them, learn more about the program via the podcast. And then I was really hesitant to sign up for another race, another marathon or anything long distance. I was just keeping up with my regular 20 miles per week schedule, very casual. But I had a goal that I always had in mind, but I didn't know that I didn't think I would be ever able to accomplish. And that was the Walt Disney World Dopey Challenge, 48.6 miles in 4 days. That sounded really impossible. Not just because of my injuries that I had in 2023, but also I had 3 meniscus repaired since age 14. So I wasn't really confident that such a big load was going to be a good thing for me. In January 2024, Dwayne ran the Dopey Challenge. I had already been listening to the podcast, so I listened to that episode, and I really felt that he was very humble and described experience and made it very appealing for me to say, if this is something you want to do, just schedule your time, your meeting introduction with Dwayne, and see if this is something that he advised that you should move forward with. And so I did so, and in the summer last year, 2024, I started the Healthy Runner coaching program, and Dwayne walked me through the phases of the program, and he was really open to listening to my goals and where I was looking for from this program. So it was really customized and it was virtual, but I felt like Dwayne was really connected. He really cares about the athletes that he's coaching. He's genuine, and he wants the best for each of us. He wants us to achieve our goals. He wants us to be healthy. He wants us to keep running and enjoy what we like, what we love. So the past 6 months that I've been working with Dwayne have been incredible. He has been very responsive throughout my training. I had a few things that popped up. One example, I fell one day. I was doing a 12-miler, and I texted Dwayne. I sent him pictures of the bruises I had on my leg. I was really nervous about hurting myself since I had previous injuries. He immediately sent me a few videos with highlights, and some techniques that I needed to apply to help. He adjusted my plan to help me get back, feel better. He checked on me that weekend. Dwayne always went above and beyond. I strongly recommend the Healthy Runner program. I really appreciate all the help that I got from Dwayne. And even now, going through my recovery, Dwayne has been checking on me and making sure that I don't ruin all the work that I have done to my body. He really cares about me running, being able to long over time, not just this one race. So I'm really thankful, Dwayne. And if you are thinking about this program, or even any of the programs that the Healthy Runner offers, just don't hesitate. Schedule a call. Don't be afraid and go for it. Nothing is impossible. And if I had to do it again, I would. Thank you, Dwayne.
I hope Alicia's story inspired you and showed you what's actually possible when you don't stop running and you start strengthening your body for running. And if you're looking for that level of structure, accountability, and support, I do offer limited spots with my one-on-one coaching program. Just click the link in the description or scan the QR code. And if one-on-one coaching isn't the right fit right now, or I don't have availability at the time that you're watching this, but you still want a proven system with guidance and community, check out the Healthy Runner Academy to help you run stronger, feel confident, and stay injury-free during Run Disney training. Now let's get to the 3 biggest strength training mistakes that Disney runners make. Mistake number 1, starting strength training too late. 4 weeks out is not enough time to add in strength training into your plan. It's a panic, right? By race week, you need to actually be in maintenance mode, not building mode. 20 weeks gives you time to actually adapt. Start now. Mistake number 2, ignoring strength single leg work. Running is 100% single leg activity. Every single stride you take, you're balancing your entire body weight on one foot. And if strength training is all done with 2 legs, you're doing squats, you're doing leg press, you're doing machine work, and you're training a movement pattern that does not exist in running, you want to train how you race. Mistake number 3 is thinking your group fitness class counts as strength training for running. This one is important, guys. And I say this with love, honestly, because I love the group camaraderie that happens with some of these fitness classes, and it kind of motivates you to get there and you do it with others. But your Orange Theory class, your Les Mills body pump class, your boot camp circuit, they are not strength training for Disney running. Here's why. A typical circuit, like 3 rounds of dumbbell thrusters or reverse lunges, bent over rows, bicycle crunches, it makes you sweat, but it will not target your running muscles, your gluteus medius, that side hip muscle that is so important when it's the single most important muscle that we have as runners. It keeps your knee tracking correctly as you run down Main Street in Magic Kingdom and up that hill entering Hollywood Studios at mile 23. That hill is sneaky, by the way. That is the muscle that's going to really help you prevent getting injured. And if it isn't strong, then you're going to be in trouble there. So, and generic group fitness classes do not target it. And I think of runners in our community like Crystal, whose story shows us like the other side of training for Disney Marathon weekend when you've done it before, but you're struggling with an injury and you're just not sure if you can actually finish the challenge. And Crystal was struggling with like reoccurring IT band pain, and she was wondering if she'd even be able to finish another challenge. And the pain wasn't just affecting her running, it was affecting her confidence. And honestly, like, that's what breaks my heart the most is, she was just not feeling like she can actually do this again. And the turning point for her came when we really stopped chasing the pain itself and started building her capacity with the right strength work, training progression, and load management. And really, where did Crystal wind up ending? She ended up not just completing the Dopey challenge again, but 2 weeks later, she also completed the Dumbo challenge. So she went coast to coast from Disney World to Disneyland, and she didn't need to worry about her IT band pain. And the lesson here for you is really when you stop focusing just on mileage or stretching a symptom of an injury that you're going through, and you start addressing the root cause with strength training, your body becomes more resilient to handle the training, and be able to do the races that matter most. And Tracy's story, Elisa's story, Crystal's story, like, they didn't just get lucky. They didn't just get some Disney magic, right? They followed a structured plan. They trusted the process, and they built strength and resilience into their bodies in order to actually run healthy. And that's exactly what we help runners do inside Healthy Runner Academy. And if you like the step-by-step guidance with stage-based strength plans, coaching, supportive community, click the link that I have for you to this training or scan the QR code. And if you're ready to go all in, I love Disney runners who are ready to go all in. They're committed, right? And you've signed up for this 9 months beforehand, right? You got through that terrible sign up process that just, is so stressful, right? So anxiety provoking, and you got your spot. And if you want to follow a structured program specifically built for Disney Marathon Weekend with the strength plan all laid out for you, the progressions that your body needs, the run plan, the fueling strategy, coaching support, the link to our program is also in the description. Runners who complete it show up at that start corral in a completely different place than they were 20 weeks earlier. They don't just survive Disney, but finish healthy enough and excited to actually sign up for their next race. And this has been Disney Marathon Strength Training Plan for you to start 20 weeks out from Marathon Weekend. And you're watching the Healthy Runner Podcast channel. Start your foundation phase now. Focus on foot, hip, glute activation. Progress to single leg control and tissue resistance in the build phase. Develop real force production and race specific power in the peak phase, and arrive at Disney fresh and activated in your taper phase. 4 phases, 20 weeks, one goal, crossing that finish line, feeling strong, durable, and healthy. Imagine finishing in Epcot, getting that medal around your neck, smiling for pictures instead of limping toward the buses. This is what Strength Plan is designed to do. And I'll be celebrating with you on Medal Monday in Magic Kingdom with some new hardware around our necks. And look, now you've got the 20-week strength plan to get you to the Disney start line, be able to feel durable and ready. But the training is only half of the battle. What do you do that final race week? From the moment you land in Orlando to the moment you step into the corral can make or break your entire Disney experience. I put together a complete race week guide specifically for dopey runners. Everything from navigating the expo to these brutal 2 a.m. wake ups to throwaway gear strategy. All 7 essentials you cannot skip. So just click the video that I have for you next, or if you're listening on the podcast, queue up episode 290 on the Healthy Runner podcast to get the 7 race day essentials for Disney Marathon Weekend. And I'll see you at the finish line.